Hey Star Trek fans, welcome back to Kertrats Productions and this week's news from the Star Trek universe. We have a big update on a Star Trek project coming out later this year, some news about the performance of Trek's latest film, new starship models to add to your collection, including a new series from Master Replicas, and finally some sad news on the loss of a member of the Star Trek family.
I promised the Federation News Service a first-hand account of the battle.
You'll get it.
Back in 2022, a miniseries focusing on Trek's most infamous villain, Khan Noonien Singh, was announced. Since then, the project has morphed into its current form, a scripted audio series released as a podcast. Well, we have just received word that production has wrapped on the series, and we've also learned a couple of the actors who have roles in the production. The series has been titled Star Trek Khan and will serve as a bridge between the events of the TOS episode Space Seed and the film Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Here is the official synopsis for the project. The exciting expansion of the Star Trek universe will explore the dramatic, untold events that unfolded in the desolate world of Ceti Alpha 5 after Captain Kirk left Khan and his followers stranded there, paving the way for the iconic clash in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. History remembers Khan Noonien Singh as a villain, the product of a failed attempt to perfect humanity through genetic engineering, whose quest to avenge himself on Admiral James T. Kirk led to unimaginable tragedy and loss. But the truth has been buried for too long beneath the sands of Ceti Alpha 5. How did Khan go from a beneficent tyrant and superhuman visionary with a new world at his fingertips to the monster we think we know so well? Recently unearthed, the rest of Khan's story will finally be told in Star Trek Khan. Star Trek Khan is based on a story by Nicholas Meyer, director of The Wrath of Khan, with the scripts written by two of my favorite authors from the Star Trek universe, Kirsten Beyer and David Mack, both renowned for their excellent Star Trek novels, with Beyer also serving as a writer on Star Trek Discovery and Picard. Starring in Star Trek Khan is Naveen Andrews in the titular role as Khan Noonien Singh himself. You may remember Andrews from his role as Saeed in the ABC series Lost. Ren Schmidt has also joined the cast as Lieutenant Marla McGivers, formerly of the Enterprise, the historian who ultimately sided with Khan and facilitated his attempt to take over the Enterprise. Schmidt is probably best known for her role as Margot Madison in the Apple series For All Mankind. While no set release date has been revealed, the announcement last week states that the audio series will premiere later in 2025 on all major podcast platforms. I personally am very much looking forward to Star Trek Khan, and will be looking forward to bringing you more news about the series as we learn it. Last month, Star Trek's latest film, Section 31, was released on Paramount+, and we now have some information as to how well it performed following its release. According to Nielsen numbers released for the week of January 20th to 26th, Star Trek Section 31 made the top 10 chart for streaming movies, coming in at number 8, despite premiering partway through that week on January 24th. This is likely good news for the folks over at Paramount, and I'm curious if this will factor into any decisions regarding the future of Star Trek streaming films. Time will tell. Fanhome, makers of Star Trek model starships, have revealed their next releases for their Star Trek official starships collection. In April, subscribers will receive the Luna-class USS Titan, based on the digital model of the Luna-class ship from Star Trek Picard. May sees the release of the USS Enterprise NCC-1701G as seen at the end of Star Trek Picard. This is, of course, the same ship as the Titan A seen throughout Season 3 of Picard. However, unlike Fanhome's model of the Titan A, the Enterprise G model will be sized a bit larger. June's release is one of my favorite ships of the newer Trek era, the Excelsior II class USS Excelsior from Picard's second season. And finally, in July, subscribers will receive the USS Dauntless from Star Trek Prodigy Season 1. This is one of my favorite designs to come from Star Trek Prodigy. Loosely based on the fake USS Dauntless from Voyager's Season 4 finale Hope and Fear, this Dauntless was constructed by Starfleet and commanded by Admiral Janeway. I'll have a link to Fanhome's website in the description if you'd like to check out these ships for yourself. Speaking of model starships, Master Replicas has just announced a new line of smaller starship models coming this summer. The series is called the Star Trek Starships Library and features reference books for each ship alongside a die-cast model that measures between 4 and 5 inches long, making them around half the size of the Fanhome starships. The first 3 books and models coming this summer are the USS Enterprise NCC 1701 from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the USS Cerritos from Star Trek Lower Decks, and the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701, but this time from the 2009 Star Trek film, or the Kelvin timeline if you prefer. According to the press release, each model will come with a stand that can be combined with the reference book to create a unique display. The price is listed as $34 each and will reportedly ship in July of this year, with more releases to come every quarter. Pre-orders are up now at masterreplicas.com, link in the description. And finally, some sad news this week as the Star Trek family has lost another one of its own. Roberto Orci, co-writer of Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Into Darkness, has passed away at the age of 51 after a battle with kidney disease. Whatever your feelings on the Kelvin timeline films, Orci had a hand in the revitalization of the Star Trek franchise and is responsible for bringing in a ton of new fans. His love of the Star Trek universe was well known, and he often interacted with fans online graciously and with good humor. His part in creating this latest era of Star Trek should not be underestimated. He was a huge asset to Star Trek and the fandom, and he will be greatly missed. Well, with no new book or comic releases this week, that's it for This Week in Star Trek. Thank you, as always, to the Patreon supporters for your help with the channel. If you've got a spare few bucks lying around and would like to help out the channel, go to patreon.com/Kertrats to sign up at any level. To everyone else, thank you, of course, so much for watching. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the Star Trek Con series. Are you looking forward to it? I know I am. Until next time, everyone, keep safe, watch out for each other, and as always, live long and prosper.